I can't believe how quickly we are starting to churn through this top 10 most anticipated movies list. Like, it took forever to get around to something going into the theaters, and in the next couple of weeks, actually in the next couple of days, How to Train Your Dragon. And I think that live action remake is hit in the UK last weekend, so that one's already out. And I think next week you're getting 28 Years Later, and then the last one I think to come out is Freakier Friday. But yeah, with July, with the big three that are there, and we've seen the way that the Thunderbolts and Mission Impossible have performed, and well, to say that their opening weekends have been lacking, especially behind number 9, I mean, it kind of paints a picture. But here we have, now that we have the aftermath of the opening weekend of number 6 from the World of John Wick, Ballerina, we can go ahead and paint a little bit more of a complete picture that a lot of the hype out there, a lot of the early enthusiasm from the audience doesn't necessarily translate to box office success, because here we got the opening weekend and brother, oof. Good thing the budget wasn't an MCU budget. Let's just go ahead and say that, because a $24 million opening weekend, $24.5 million opening weekend, that's really ass. That's like really tragic, because here's the thing, man. Okay, we're finding out just about a year later that Ballerina, a Mad Max saga, Furiosa from the World of John Wick. Yeah, John Wick movies need to have John Wick, just like Mad Max movies need to have Mad Max. Nothing against Ana de Armas. Talked about her before. Like, I think that she's like a genuinely a nice lady. Like, I've seen nothing bad about her at all whatsoever. It's just the whole, yeah, female action star trying to usurp their male counterpart. It's not working, man. Women like certain things, okay? And women trying to do a pale imitation of an otherwise masculine character, that stuff doesn't work. Like, it's been proven time and time again. Hell, you've had multiple giant franchises. You've had Star Wars and MCU, okay? You've had Star Wars and Marvel drive it into the fucking ground trying to get this nebulous female dollar. And we know exactly why we're doing this. I know a lot of people are pointing to, well, they're trying to socially engineer, they're just trying to remove remove masculinity and femininity, they're just trying to make these, gray jumpsuit having weirdos. No, man. Okay, we've seen, thanks to the rise of the she economy, by 2030, how 80% of women are going to be 60 or 80. No, right. It's 60% of women, okay, of childbearing age women are going to be single, and women control 80% of household purchases. They just are simply, all of these corporations are simply going in the direction of, oh, women have money to spend. Let's try to make movies. Let's try to make things that appeal to women, but fail to realize that women, okay, somebody who has a mother and a sister, okay, I see what they watch. It's a bunch of trash reality TV, okay? Or if my dad's around, mom and dad are watching something, and I go and check in and see, it's like, oh, hey, what do you guys been watching lately? It's whatever dad watches, okay? So women, when they're on their own, they have very different tastes to what the mainstream media is trying to push on them. All you need to do is just take a look at Nielsen or Samba or any of the tracking firms to go ahead and, proof of concept right there. How many of the different dating shows, Love is Blind, Love on the Spectrum, can't believe that's a thing, but hey man, women watch it, so that's why it tracks every single time. Now what else is on there? A bunch of Taylor Sheridan, boomer, non-political, old action star TV long form stories. It's not a difficult concept. But Ballerina, like, it could have worked, okay? Because there is a way that you can go ahead and tell a story like this in this setting. It just has to be a femme fatale, okay? Like, you can't just have this ass-kicking badass chick that gets thrown through walls and is otherwise impervious to damage. And anybody trying to tell you that, oh, no, this isn't a girl boss story because she gets beat up, bro. Just go ahead and show, okay? Just go ahead and show her after any of these encounters how she doesn't have a scratch or anything on her, okay? It's kind of like she's entirely decked out head to toe in John Wick's, stupid bulletproof fucking Superman costume that he normally wears in the rest of those trash films. Like, the first one's fantastic, and the other three are just riding its coattails. I digress. A lot of people just simply like the flashy action that's on the screen. I hate them for it, but they flock to the theaters for it. As somebody who just likes compelling performances, interesting characters, and if you're going to do action, it better be building character at the same time. As somebody who likes, things like that, I kind of detest the slop that has just been put on the screen and otherwise been rewarded. I can take a look at the best performing films this year, and guess what? None of them are any good, but I digress. Even the ones that bomb fucking suck. But this could end up having a knock-on effect for the rest of the John Wick movies, because the people that I've seen review this so far are just pointing out the inconsistencies in it that are also running rampant across the rest of the John Wick films, which, yeah, this could, like I said, have a negative knock-on effect, which maybe the Continental. Everybody remember that? Like, that came out last year. That was a TV series from the World of John Wick that went absolutely nowhere at the speed of smell. But the John Wick creator says the Continental ignored feedback from him and Keanu Reeves, a group of individuals thought that they had the magic sauce, which is so sad. Was Mel Gibson in the Continental? That sucks. Far from a fan of the television spin-off, John Wick creator Chad Stahelski says that one of the main reasons why the Continental received a relatively middling reception was the fact that its main production crew believed that they were capable of handling the material without any input from either himself or franchise star Keanu Reeves. Stahelski, who has directed the 4 mainline John Wick films, shared his thoughts on the Mel Gibson-led TV series during a recent interview given the Hollywood Reporter's James Hibbard, like Dr. Hibbard, ahead of the wide release of the franchise's next entry, Ballerina. Asked by the host if his hands-off experience with the Continental taught him any creative lessons in terms of how to expand the universe, the director noted that perhaps more than anything, he had learned just how wrong things can go if given production team refused to actively engage with the spirit of their work. But yeah, apparently he gave a nod, right, to Ballerina, right? Like, he thought it was good. Look, it's always tricky explained to such projects as Continental and Ballerina. I think the world can be supported as long as you don't go crazy and carpet bomb. That's what they're doing now with the stories. You really want an organic feel. You've seen Alice in Wonderland. Now, what about the rabbit? What about the Cheshire Cat? Also, sometimes if your own in your own franchise, you get so far up your own ass with the mythology that the 10th movie and you don't know what's going on, right? Yeah. And like how, John Wick was supposed to just simply be a talented assassin and not a superhero that can go ahead and fall down a flight of stairs or just somehow get lucky enough to dodge every bullet in a stupid train sequence. I don't ever want to get to that way with Wick. Well, I want each one to be able to stand alone. Right. Yeah, you want all of them to stand alone, and that's why John Wick female-led spin-off Ballerina, the one that had, John Wick in it and had Chad's seal of approval on it. In opening, yes, weekend box office as women skip another for her action film because, yeah, the whole attempt to feminize an otherwise male-led brand. I'm not going to say that, they're trying to subvert or anything, that they're just trying to, stick a chick in it and make it lame and gay. It's just, I don't think there's anything nefarious to this. I just think that they're incompetent, and attributing something to incompetence as opposed to malice is always the first and arguably most accurate way to assess why something went wrong. I just think that there is a distinct lack of talent in Hollywood in today's day and age, and that has definitely been the case. And I think it really was highlighted to me recently with the Lilo and Stitch remake. Just hearing that broken down, just how they so fundamentally failed to understand the original. As somebody who never seen the original, has no intent of seeing the remake, but just hearing it broken down shot for shot, what they missed from the original, what they thought, care of interviews, about how they improved the source material and made their story tell a much more impassioned, much more emotional story between sisters, and them totally and completely missing the mark. I'm sure there are creatives that go out there and wholeheartedly seek to destroy a project. Okay, Russell T Davies wanting to get, revenge on all of the chuds that are out there. You can go ahead and point to a few different outliers, but en masse, I just think that these people are too fucking stupid to even sharpen a pencil, let alone write a full coherent script. So they think John Wick works because action, guns, and cool kills. So they just think that they can go ahead and slot in anybody that they want. They can go ahead and slot in a chick because, we don't have enough women, and it'd be cool to see a girl do this. But when all is said and done, you forget what made the first John Wick film so successful. A man hell-bent on revenge of somebody killing the gift of his wife, a puppy, and him going to the ends of the earth to avenge him. Him and her, puppy too. So you can't just plop somebody into the universe and go, that's our new John Wick, because they will see directly through that. At least that's what I hope, because Lilo and Stitch ended up getting rewarded because, people just kind of don't have taste. After weeks of promotional build-up and an early embargo controversy, yeah, exactly. If you want to be hyped about the film, go ahead and drop your reactions weeks beforehand. But if you want to be critical about it, just wait a little bit. But Lionsgate didn't actually mean that, guys. It was just poor wording. The first John Wick spinoff has stumbled out of the gate with a disappointing $25 million domestic opening. That figure places Ballerina second at the box office for the week and marks the lowest debut in the Wick universe since the original film's modest launch back in 2014. Yeah, back when nobody knew what the hell Neo was doing. Okay, why does he have long hair and he's shooting guns now? It's like, okay, well, whatever. So yeah, and here's the real kicker. Female audiences didn't show up again. Despite Ballerina starring Armas in the specifically designed to expand the John Wick world with a female lead, audiences tracking from Post-Track showed that 63% of opening weekend moviegoers were male. This mirrors the recurring trend of action-heavy franchises that try to pivot towards female-centric storytelling without truly connecting with a female audience. Because, yep, this is what happens, man. And as somebody who really loves a good, strong, masculine story, I have been starved for new content for, Jesus Christ, I can't even remember, man. Like I talk about it regularly, and I think, God, earlier today or yesterday, I can't quite remember, but still, talk about it on a regular basis. I love Lord of the Rings for a multitude of reasons, but the story of Aragorn and Theoden, Boromir, Frodo, Sam, just about everybody in the Fellowship, okay, going on these very masculine adventures, showing that there are different ways to properly portray masculinity and that there are different responsibilities and different ways to accomplish being a man. You do not see that anymore. It's been a very, very, very long time since we have seen that in a mainstream film. And even when we get close, the one thing that I might remember, I didn't watch it, but I've seen it brought up in a couple of reviews, but of Avatar 2, nobody remembers that film. It came out at the tail end of 2022. But because there was a somewhat positive portrayal of a father looking after his family, it got points from some people for that because we are so starved. Nobody can tell you anything else about the rest of that movie. And I'm sure Fire and Ass will be like that towards the end of the year. Oh, wow, I like the red people fight the blue people. It was so great. But when they had to go get unobtainium from the center of a fucking volcano because there's no whales to drill the brain goo out of this time around, that was the plot to the second one, if you remember, which you don't because nobody remembers any of the Avatar movies. But because he might, I don't know, pay lip service to a family unit that he had to sacrifice a kid from. Oh my God, it's just so stupid. But still, no, it might get credit for that. But it's so funny, right? Because every once in a while, for as much as this, shift towards putting women in traditionally masculine roles, you still, every once in a while, see a traditionally feminine role come along. And guess what? In the form of Barbie, it ends up making the most money in a year. You'll see guys mocked and belittled when they get put into feminine roles, but that's fine because we can go ahead and laugh at guys for being incompetent failures and failing to live up to the feminine expectation. But we very rarely, if ever, see a proper, competent man being conventionally masculine and rewarded for it. That is why movies, television, entertainment in general is failing en masse, and why you have to go internationally. You have to cast your gaze abroad in order to see anything approaching conventional, approaching masculine, and anything promoting competency. You won't get it in the West. You can still find it in the East. It just takes a little bit of digging. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.